Good morning and welcome to Community Conversations. My name is Kathy Jordan and I am the chair for the Elmhurst Senior Commission. We as the Senior Commission are offering community conversations for you to receive information from the comfort of your home. We miss seeing all of you. Today, we should have this whole room filled with smiling seniors looking to find out useful information, but unfortunately because of COVID for the last several years we've had to do things differently. So this is our new way of handling community conversations. Today, the Senior Commission provides information, advice, and advocacy to enhance the quality of life for adults in Elmhurst. We would like to thank Mayor Levin and the City Council for their support, and thank Comcast today for helping make this program available to you from the comfort of your home. You are only as good as the people you are working with, and I would like to thank Heidi Forbush, who is the chair of the Education Committee, who has arranged to bring today's presentation, Safety, Technology, and You, to all of you today. I also would like to thank Ruth Maple and Chris Hansen, who are being assistants today, and they are also a part of our commission. Let me tell you a little bit about our program today. Diane Schmidt is a lifelong Elmhurst resident. Diane has been employed by the police department since 1989. She is a crime analyst assigned to the investigative division. Diane holds the position of president of the Illinois Crime Analyst Association. Officer Joan Velez has been employed with the police department since 2007. Joan is currently assigned to the school as a school resource officer. Joan and Diane have worked together on projects stemming from crime prevention, senior services, and residential quarterly bulletins. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Diane Schmidt and Officer Joan Velez, concerning safety, technology, and you.
Good morning. My name is Joan Velez.
And I'm Diane Schmidt.
While we were invited by the Senior Citizens Commission to provide information regarding current crime trends affecting seniors, our message is absolutely not for senior citizens alone.
No, it is not. The information we're going to give you today is universal in nature. So we invite everyone to take the time and listen, because crime affects everyone.
So if you yourself have yet to reach your golden years, please stay tuned to listen as well to the information we will be giving you may help you watch over your relative, your neighbor, and even yourself. And that's why we're here. We want to make sure that you're aware of the crimes we see affecting the Chicagoland area, the metropolitan area, not just Elmhurst, because crime is mobile. And what happens in one city can easily happen in another, even in Elmhurst. Crimes that make the headlines on your evening news primarily highlight violent crimes like carjackings, but what is equally important, especially to the suburban areas, and crimes that typically don't make the headlines like burglaries, scams, or cons and thefts. These are the crimes we don't hear much about, but yet are the most commonly reported crimes in our town. By taking a few common sense tips, these crimes can be successfully thwarted by their intended victim. And that is why we are going to talk about this today. Agreed?
Absolutely. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well, to prevent any crime, we have to identify it, and then we can understand it. Take residential burglary. That's where the burglar comes into the home for the purpose of removing property. Some burglaries happen by force, where the offender will use a source of force, like a pry bar, to open a window or a door. Or they can use a rock to break a window near the door lock, just so they can unlock the door, get their entry.
Or if the homeowner forgets to lock their patio doors, or on the first floor windows, a burglar can simply walk in without any effort at all. We haven't had too many of those the last couple of years.
No, we haven't, and there's one glaring reason for that.
The COVID-19 lockdown.
Yep. With most people having to work from home or attend school remotely, more people are in the residence. That means less opportunity for people to actually force their way into a home without being detected. They don't want to risk being caught by someone. So generally, these offenders will wait until they believe the house is empty before they try and pry open a door. It presents an easier opportunity for them. And last year, not many opportunities were presented. They'll try and take the path of least resistance. So historically, this burglar may knock on a door and wait for a response before actually forcing their way into the house. But if they see someone inside, they'll typically leave and find another opportunity somewhere else. I don't suggest anyone opening the door, though, for anyone they do not recognize, and we'll discuss that later and why.
Good. Well, just because we didn't have forced entry incidences, it doesn't mean we can forget this kind of burglary. So what can every homeowner do to help reduce the opportunity that a burglar is looking for?
You mean harden the target? That's police talk.
Yes, harden the target. Take the opportunities away from would-be burglars so they don't even try to commit their crimes.
Well, with forced burglary, we see a lot of activity at patio and rear yard doors. That's the most private area on a property and the easiest for them to break.
So I know I'm stating the obvious, but here goes.
And we'll refer to our slides here.
Lock all doors and windows when not in use. Use a patio door security bar, also known as a burglar bar, to prevent sliding doors to open beyond an inch or so. You may want to draw any blinds or shades to obscure the direct view into the house. Some burglars select their target because they like what they see. Turn on some lights inside your house or use timer lights at night, especially when you may be out for dinner or away on vacation. Anything like that can give the impression someone may be home. That will discourage a would-be burglar from trying to gain entry.
You know a great place for a small timer light?
The bedroom?
That's a good one, but I know another one, besides the living room, besides the great room. How about the bathroom?
True. Don't forget about good exterior lighting. Porch lights, garage lighting, landscaping lighting, that all can make a difference. Exterior lighting can be motion sensor, meaning they go on and off something that crosses the sensor's path. It can help deter the offender or help police find the offender when the light is activated. It's just easier to see someone around the house or the garage.
And lastly, make sure the garage doors are locked too, both overhead and service doors, especially if you have an attached garage.
True.
This way, no one can have access to the interior of your residence or the garage. Last thing on door locking, I promise. You can make a routine of it. Pick a time, any time, to double check your cars, your garage, and your home doors. Make sure they're locked. A lot of police departments nationwide call it the 9 o'clock routine. So they suggest everything being locked by 9.
Not a bad idea, and well worth to keep your property safe.
Okay, so that's a brief discussion on forced residential burglary. That can affect any age group. But I know there are other kinds that specifically target the senior citizen. And we want you to pay special attention to these because the criminal activity occurs almost daily throughout the Chicagoland area, and sometimes in Elmhurst. We want to change that, and we need you to help us.
Oh, you're talking about the distraction burglary or the ruse burglary? A ruse or a con is where a burglar can gain entry into a home by pretending to be under false pretenses. They are physically breaking a window or a door to get in. They talk themselves into a house, or they talk the resident out of the house.
And sadly, they're very, very good at it.
Yes, they are. It's actually their profession. They just like being a police officer. It's like being me.
Or being a crime analyst like me.
The ruse burglary primarily is exclusive in targeting victims of specific age group. They select their senior citizen. So we're going to talk about this a little longer and a bit more in depth than a regular old forced burglary. So when I'm on patrol, I look for this guy, right? On the slide?
No.
What about this guy?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see him either.
Him then, right?
Now, he'd pique my curiosity. But I would say he doesn't quite represent the modern-day burglar we see who targets senior citizens.
There. Now there's your modern day ruse burglar, right?
That is. And that's another. And another.
The utility guy, he's a burglar?
Well, not the utility guy, but the guy in the picture is. Yeah, this photo is a case from Canada. The man in the picture is a suspect who attempted to gain entry into a senior citizen's home by posing as a utility worker. He attempted to lure the resident outside the house, but the resident became suspicious of the reasoning and was able to prevent the crime.
Canada, so this kind of crime is pretty common?
It is. The United States and Canada has a great influx of this. So unfortunately, it is very common. Why don't we take a look? In recent area news, senior residents were approached by 3 males dressed in reflective vests, carrying handheld radios and identifying themselves as ComEd employees. 2 men distracted the victim, while others ransacked the house. Taken was gold wedding band, a gold necklace, and 2 men's watches.
And in another incident, the residents reported that a suspect wearing a hard yellow construction style hat, black face mask, green construction vest, black pants, and dark shoes rang their doorbell. The suspect claimed to be with ComEd and informed the resident she needed to check the home for any power outage issues caused by the recent storm. The residents allowed the suspect to enter the home and were led down to the basement. The suspect then proceeded to turn on the washer and dryer and slop sink faucet and plugged an unknown device into one of the outlets.
And by doing all of this, it provided enough time for the other accomplices to enter the home.
By the time it was over, the residents' bedrooms were ransacked. Taken were the residents' handgun and good amount of jewelry.
That's despicable.
It is, but that's how these burglars work nowadays. They work very convincing and very persistent in getting the homeowner's attention. And once they do, they are quick to steal and leave.
Okay, so anyone saying they're from ComEd I need to be aware of? No, not necessarily. But ComEd will be in the area for the next few months in Elmhurst here trimming trees. So here's what we suggest. No ComEd employee is going to ask you to exit your home while they're trimming their trees. And if for some reason someone does come to your door dressed like you've seen in a nice reflective vest and a hard hat, asks you to accompany them out in the backyard because they're there to trim the trees, please do not do it. Instead, call 911. Police department will come out to your residence and verify the identification of the person in your yard. We don't want you to allow yourself to become a victim. Stay safe.
I'll read more. No water department, no ComEd, but this imposter still got what he was after. A male white with a clipboard approached the home. He was able to distract the homeowner by asking her to step into the backyard and show him the property line, while she accompanied and was assisting the man with what he asked. 2 other men entered her home and stole a safe containing jewelry.
Yes, they'll use any way to distract you, whether it's turning on your own water faucets or telling you that your grass is poisoned. They're that convincing. And sometimes you'll let them in or you'll accompany them out of the house, allowing opportunity for the others to come in and take what's yours. What I've noticed amongst this is everybody's representing themselves as utility workers. Water department, ComEd, electric, tree trimmers. They're not saying they're the refrigerator repairman because you need to make an appointment for that. So if someone turns up to your home unexpected, I would be a little bit suspect. Don't allow them entry until you verify who they are.
Perfect.
After all, it's your home and your property.
You're right. So by taking a few simple steps, you can protect yourself from this specific type of crime?
You can, and we've discussed that.
Absolutely. You're not bothering us. So if you don't know who's at your door, don't open the door. Don't let them in. Maintain that barrier using a storm door, or just call 911 so we can verify them.
Now remember, these scams are almost always specific to the senior citizen, these types of burglaries, but they can apply to everybody. So pass the word on. Verify before you trust. That was a lot to take in.
It was. Hold on.
Can you hang on a second?
Sure.
I forgot to turn my phone off. I'm sorry. Hello? Yes. Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. Hey, my car warranty was just extended.
You don't.
My 5-year car warranty on my 2005 Chrysler has been extended at the push of a button. Isn't that terrific?
Amazing.
I didn't have to do a thing.
Was it a scam call?
I don't know.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Sorry. Hello? What? No. Thank you very much. IRS has a warrant out for my arrest.
Oh, no.
This is tax filing season, but I'm paid up. I don't think I'm going to buy that one. These are all kinds of scams that we see every day on the phone.
Maybe they misdialed you.
Do you know how many misdials a day I get?
If you're like most Americans, I bet a lot.
And you would be correct.
Like
I
what?
mean, the things I found out answering these calls. I've overpaid my electric bill. They're going to credit my account. All I need to do is give them my account information and my bank account so they can put the money right in for me. How good is that? It was so easy. I told them my routing number, hung up. That didn't work out so well.
So what else?
I took a call telling me that the Amazon account that I have was compromised. They're going to fix that for me too. I didn't even know I had an Amazon account.
And?
Well,
What else?
aside from the car warranty,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I won money in the lottery.
I feel like they're just calling all of us about this.
You mean you won too?
I didn't even play it. I didn't play it, but I had to pay taxes on it, they were claiming.
And the last call I got, I've got a grandson. I didn't even know that. But he asked me for money. He was in jail. I didn't want to leave him there, so I paid.
Oh, no, Diane.
What?
You went online the other day?
I did. I went online the other day. My computer popped up and said I caught the COVID. All I had to do was give them access to my computer and they'd cure it for me. Get rid of that virus. Yeah, well, all my friends got spam emails, and my computer doesn't even work now. So I guess the virus is gone. So's my computer.
Ay. I got to tell you, you've been scammed more than once. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You've been scammed. And this phone and computer nonsense, it's all ways people get faked into providing their personal information that offenders can use to further their criminal activities. Scams on the phone are referred to phishing. Scams on the computer are referred as phishing. Either way, these scams are all fishy to us. Here are some of the most common scams circulating the world's population today.
Well, scamming involves a criminal pretending to represent a trusted institution like your bank or your utility company, okay? They can ask you to extend your warranty. They can provide you a free vacation. Or they can tell you that your computer is infected. Maybe they'll just ask you to donate to a charity. Scammers also exaggerate your prizes. I mean, I won $1 million. All I had to do was pay $100,000 up front, and the rest of it was mine. Okay? We suggest you not fall for scams. And while they sound good and we want to trust people, these days people make their money by preying on us. So take the extra time and stop and ask yourself simple questions. Could this be a scam? Especially when you get that phone call. You're taking off your game a little bit. Ask this question, can this be a scam?
Offers from companies that you don't do business with or have ever heard of. An announcement that you have won a prize in a contest you didn't even enter. Keep those in mind. Promises of unrealistic returns from your money. Pressure to make immediate decisions to give the caller what they want. Threats of consequences such as fines, penalties, if you don't provide money or information up front. Unprofessional, hostile, or even obscene language. Unsolicited calls offering to help you with debt, unpaid taxes, or previous cases of fraud. So how to attack the problem and not become a victim? If a caller claims to be from an institution you do business with, such as your bank, and they ask for personal information like account numbers, social securities, and so on, hang up. Find that institution's phone number, call them. If they have, or they call you, you receive the call and it was fraud, report it. Do not pay fees for prices or rewards by phone. The IRS will never ask you for debit or credit numbers over the phone, demanding immediate payments using specific methods. Please keep that in mind, such as a prepaid gift card, debit cards, or wire transfers. The IRS will generally contact you first by U.S. mail. Let's keep that in mind. Don't send money or give out your personal information, such as credit card numbers and expiration dates, bank account numbers, dates of birth, social security numbers, in response to unsolicited phone calls or unfamiliar companies or unknown persons. Don't trust caller ID either. Phone numbers and caller identities can be faked, or what we call spoofed. There have been reports of forged phone numbers from the UM government, offices, and other businesses and institutions. There's so many. Here's one we want you all to pay special attention to. It's called the grandparent scam, and it tends to pick up in use around the holiday season.
Or spring break, by the way.
Spring break.
So we'll show you that clip now. These are actual news reports. One is out of Arizona and the other is out of Philadelphia. And while they'll tug at your heart, just pay attention so when you get that phone call, if you get that phone call, you'll know what to do.
A Phoenix woman got a call from her grandson in trouble, or that's who she thought she was speaking to.
Yeah, but instead she found herself involved in an elaborate scam that had absolutely nothing to do with her grandson at all. 3 on your side's Gary Harper here now to explain.
If you're a senior citizen, or maybe you know a senior citizen, like your parent or possibly a neighbor, I want you to listen very closely. This is called the grandparent scam. And before you ask yourself, how could anyone ever fall for something like this? I have to tell you, it happens all the time.
This is my daughter, Cindy, and my son, Peter.
Irma Orozco has a large family, a family she'd like to talk to more, but she knows they're busy. So you try to talk to them as much as you can, but
Yeah.
they have their own lives going on. And
Yes, sometimes you feel like a bother, I can call in because they're busy.
yeah, you kind of feel like you're bothering them sometimes.
Yes.
So when her phone rang recently, she was excited to hear a voice who she thought was her adult grandson named Jack on the other end.
I got the phone and they said, hello. And I said, hello. I said, this is Jack. And I said, hi, Jack.
But it wasn't Jack, seen here from when he was just a small child. It was really a scammer pretending to be Jack, and he had terrible news.
And I said, what happened? And he told me, I have a real bad accident.
Irma says the phone was then given to another guy claiming to be her grandson's attorney, and this guy said she needed to come up with bond money immediately.
Bond money. And I said, how much? He said, $7,000 to start it.
So, just like she was told to do, Irma picked up her purse, walked out the front door, and headed to her bank to withdraw $7,000. She then deposited the money directly into the scammer's Bank of America account, again, thinking it was bond money. The scammer later called Irma again and said he needed another $6,500. And this loving 74-year-old grandmother did just that by going back to the bank and depositing all that money into the scammer's account again. After all, she thought she was helping her grandson. However, Irma now knows she's been duped by something called the grandparent scam.
So what would you tell other grandparents out there?
The same. I said, just be careful. Because they trick you so bad, they traumatize you first. They traumatize you so bad that you
can't even think straight.
No, you lose your sense. I lose my sense.
Now, if you get a call similar to this, it is most likely a scam. Simply hang up the phone and call a relative. Remember, the scammer will tell you, don't call mom and dad, but that's a red flag that this is in fact a scheme, and they don't want you to verify that. Don't fall for it. I'm Gary Harper, 3 on your side.
Now to NBC 10 Response, a warning about a scam targeting grandparents.
Yeah, local police tell us it happens more and more during the holiday season. And now there's a new twist to this. NBC 10 Response reporter Harry Hairston live in our newsroom with a look at how it all works, Harry.
Hey, listen, today authorities in our area announced charges against 2 local people. Cops say tried to commit the fraud. Now it all begins with a phone call that your grandchild is in trouble and needs your help. Bucks County resident Michael Brown tells NBC 10 Response his father got one of these convincing calls.
My son was in jail and needed $8,000, I believe the sum was at the time, to be released from jail.
He says the caller identified himself as an attorney and even knew the grandson's name.
He was about ready to start sending money because he cares about his grandkids.
Thankfully, the 87-year-old called his son before sending any cash, and he realized the call was a con.
It's dastardly. It's one of the worst things that I've seen out there, certainly.
Michael Bannon, director of the Bucks County Office of Consumer Protection, tells us the grandparent scam tends to tick up this time of year.
It's an emotional scam. So when that scam happens, people react fast to it because they're thinking their grandchild is in trouble.
The Federal Trade Commission tells NBC 10 Response victims have lost $41 million to these calls in the past year. The fraudsters usually instruct victims to purchase gift cards, asking them to share the card's number over the phone. Now, a new trend. They're asking you to send cash through the mail. If you get an urgent call saying your loved one is in legal trouble and needs money, the FTC suggests don't act on the call, no matter how dramatic the story is. Call family members to see if your loved one is really in trouble. Then contact police. If you've mailed cash, report it right away to the Postal Service or whichever shipping company you used. They may be able to stop the delivery before it's too late. Experts say have a plan in place before you get a call.
Hopefully they've talked about it in advance, and if you have a code word with your grandchild that you can share, that's great.
Now listen, folks, an important thing to consider. Be careful what you're posting publicly on social media. You could be giving up a wealth of information about yourself and your loved ones. Law enforcement says police or the public defender's office will not call you asking for money. Back to you guys.
That was terrible. And really, it's really no fault of the victim. Their money can be gone in a second. These predators always have a hook and a way in, and sometimes people will send their entire life savings.
And while most will say, how can they fall for something like that? So we want to remind you to protect yourself and avoid being scammed. Take time and remember the following.
Be suspicious when you receive a phone call where a grandchild calls you from a faraway location, or the grandchild says, "It's me, it's your grandson, it's your favorite grandchild." The grandchild is sometimes in trouble or in a type of distress. So they'll say they were arrested or involved in an accident. Then the caller will ask for money to get your grandchild out of problems. You don't want to cause a problem for your grandchild, so you won't call their parents to tell them, but I'm suggesting that you do. Always verify. Was that your granddaughter or your grandson that called and asked for the money? Where are they? This way you're verifying their own safety, but you're also protecting your own money. In addition, never give anyone any personal identifying information on the phone. Don't use your grandchild's name first. Let them tell you who they are.
I know it's a lot, but our goal for today is to let people know what the current crime trends are, especially ones targeting our seniors.
And we have. However, I do think a lot of what we said can apply to everybody. If you pass the information on that you've heard today, pass it to a relative, a friend, or a neighbor, or even use it yourselves, we've accomplished a lot.
So from your police department, we say stay aware, stay safe, and have a happy and healthy 2022.
I hope you enjoyed today's informative program. Thank you to Diane Schmidt and Officer Velez for a very informative program about technology, and you and safety. A big thank you to the Elmhurst Police and Fire Department for all the good services they provide our community. I always end the program with a quote, and I thought this was appropriate. Today, be thankful and remember how rich you are. Your family is priceless, your time is gold, and your wealth is health. How true that is for today. Stay safe, stay vaccinated, and hope to see you next month for another community conversation. Thank you for joining us.